Yo, what is going on, guys? Winner Kills here, and welcome to round 3 for this week's locals feature matches. Here we have branded Despia again here on the left versus Springan Therion Adventure. Pretty cool deck, gotta say. Any deck that I get to see Regulus in is always very cool. Especially that new gigantic Captain Sargus card, which I've had a little bit of thoughts about possibly maybe splashing some kind of, little Therion engine into the Photon Galaxy deck, but I digress for now. We'll elaborate a bit more on that in One Deck 1 Month and so on and so forth, maybe on the stream, but we're going to see the Springan Therion deck go first here. Springan Adventure Therion deck go first. They're going to go ahead and start with some adventurer plays. Leading with, Enchantress into right, summon out the token, summon out Griffin Rider, and we're going to see him activate now the effect to go ahead and grab the equip spell, and setting 1 and passing. So they did not open up very well at all here. Just Griffin Rider plus a set, maybe a hand trap, although they did have to discard an Ash to get a search, which is unfortunate to say the least. So we'll see him pass turn over to our branded Despia player, who see if they have what it takes to crack this impenetrable board. I do see an Albaz, which he will opt to set. And we're going to see him activate Polymerization. I do see a Branded Fusion in hand, but you got to be pretty careful with that Branded Fusion. You do want that to resolve if at all possible. We know there's an Omni to get on board, so that can't be our first action. He's got another Poly in hand as well, it looks like. And that looks to be Bystial Baldrake. So, just double checking the extra deck there before they commit to this, this here act of fusion and summoning. So the opening hand looks to be double Poly, Albaz Baldrake, Branded Fusion. One other card I didn't get a good enough look at. So looks like he will Kermit and go for copy of Lubellion. Might be another Bystial in hand. I think it looks like another Bystial. Looks like it might be Druis Worm. Or it could be Bystial Lubellion. But he's going to go ahead and use Lubellion, discarding another Polymerization. The set card is Imperm, lo and behold. And that is a bit of a problem, because now there is no way to freely resolve this Branded Fusion in hand, because we still have to worry about the Griffin Rider. And it is a Druis Worm in hand. And the unfortunate part about this being Druis Worm is there's no way to crash it to send off the Griffin Rider, and it doesn't even matter anyways because they had Ash in hand. So Ash Imperm into a very subpar opening. At least, I mean, opening Branded Fusion is always good, of course. Just like subscribing to the channel if you haven't already is very good. And but I mean, if it's paired with weak extenders, right, you're not going to be doing too much past an Ash, or enough plays prior to having to use your Branded Fusion. Branded Fusion's good, but if it's just Branded Fusion, it's not that good. So we're going to see him resolve Patchwork first, add Poly and Chain, normal summon now, the Aliber, no Ash, or no Veiler or Imperm on the Aliber. Which I know those are usually go-to things to hit with Imperm or Veiler, but I think probably now it probably makes much more sense to hit Albion or Lubellion, since they have more ways to fusion into those types of cards and are playing more ways to get into those cards without needing Branded Fusion, I guess. So we'll see what he wants to add here. And I think I remember my friend here on the left talking to me after the match saying he didn't want to just go right for Branded Fusion, mainly because he was worried about Ash and didn't want to get completely FTK'd by Ash Blossom. So I had to play it a little safe here and dodge that hand trap and try to make it as dead in the opponent's hand as possible. So they go ahead and search Branded in red. Or I don't think that's Branded Red. I think that's the field spell. They might have had Branded Red. Those cards look very, very similar from my perspective. So he will use the field spell, though, to go ahead and fusion away the Edge Imp Chain and the Albert into Masquerade the Blazing Dragon. And that is going to proc Edge Imp Chain to go ahead and search for Frightfur Patchwork. So we'll have that in hand for follow-up for next turn. Have Way to Fusion and at least 50% of a fusion monster to go along with it. We're going to see him activate Branded in red now. That's going to target Aliber in hand. And now we're going to see him go ahead and banish Aliber. And I think that is the bird, which I am not remembering its name right now, which is hilarious. Bird. Golden bird, that's a negate if you have a fusion monster on board that lists Albaz, I believe. So we'll see him fusion summon for, I think that's Quaritus? I'm not sure exactly what fusion monster that is. No, it looks like Quaritus. It looks like Quaritus. Yeah, I think that's Quaritus. We'll see him go ahead and add a copy of Albaz. And there's really not much else they can do right now, outside from activate the polymerization here and fuse off the Masquerade and the Albaz. And I'm assuming this is their attempt to get into Mirror Jade the long way, essentially. Trying to play around again Ash Blossom as much as they possibly could. Mercurier. It just hit me. Mercurier. Mercurier is its name. Tri-Brigade Mercurier. Yeah. That's the one. So they're going to be able to get to Mirror Jade, again, taking the long route there. Fusion into Mirror Jade without having to use Branded Fusion. And we're going to see them go into Evenly Matched to start their turn. They're obviously going to keep just the Mirror Jade, its removal, its follow-up, and there is an Enchantress. Yeah, talk about a very, very rough match for our branded Despia player here. They're going to go ahead and resolve the Enchantress. That is going to go ahead and grab the Rite of Eremacir. And they do have Griffin Rider again to pair along with this, so they are going to chain Griffin Rider to the right. And this is almost going to force out the Mirror Jade immediately. So they will get token. I mean, yeah, it really doesn't even give them an opportunity to chain the Mirror Jade because of the way everything will resolve. And then we're going to see him activate, I think this is Springan's Watch, I believe. That's going to go ahead and add the Great Sand Sea Golgonda. I believe it has an additional effect if you already have the field spell in play. And then we're going to see him activate the field spell to go ahead and discard and bring out Merrymaker from the extra deck. And Merrymaker will be able to send, I believe, a Springan's card from the deck to the grave. And they're going to go ahead and send Springan's Bronga. I think that's Bronga. I think it is. I think I remember these Springan's cards more than I remember some of these branded cards. It's just been so long. And the nice thing about Merrymaker is it can just be Ixies chained into Gigantic Champion. We're able to attach the Bronga, though. And then go into Gigantic Champion over top of the Merrymaker. And this will allow him to go ahead and search any Springans or Therion cards, so long as it has material. And I don't believe you need to detach for it either. It is a generic level 8 Xyz monster, or generic rank 8 Xyz. But of course, it can be Xyz changed. And looks like we're going to go ahead and see him activate Mirror Jade now, dumping Albionna's cost. And they're just going to go ahead and let that resolve as they realize they have to banish the token. Well, I mean, do they have to let that resolve there? I don't know. I feel like you don't chain Griffin Rider there and they banish the Gigantic Champion, because I don't think Mirror Jade targets. Unless I'm missing something. But either way, he'll go ahead and get to add Regulus. And he'll detach from... We'll use one of these Springan spells that will detach from Sargus. And that will proc its other effect to bounce a card, since material was detached. And Talents will go ahead and rip that last card back into the opponent's deck. And they've already exhausted their battle phase because of evenly matched. End phase, Regulus will negate the effect of Albion to deny them their follow-up. And now at this point, it's like top deck Branded Fusion, or they're not really doing much, and they top deck Ash Blossom, which is like the complete opposite of Branded Fusion. Literally the polar opposite. And imagine next turn they'll be able to put game on board. Very, very easy. So we'll just see him as expected, pass turn. Springan's player will lead with Sargus to go and attempt to get Regulus. And I feel like this you would Ash here. Although I could see maybe wanting to Ash the effect of Fateful. But I mean, getting access to Regulus with a Regulus already in grave is really, really strong. So we're going to see him chain Masquerade in grave in response to Regulus effect targeting Regulus. So they don't have an opportunity to negate it just yet. And then they're going to activate Right. And that is just going to seal the deal. Maybe if they would have ashed first, then that probably would have been game. But they're still probably losing regardless. They're top decking with an Omni Negate on board. But that is going to do it, unfortunately. Ending there. Huge shout out to our current Divine level channel members, though, who are Misfit, HE8 Cyber, Cadillacs 84, and Pony Star. Thank you guys so much as always for extremely kind and very generous support of the channel.